name to deliver honest, quality services you can count on. It's always important to know someone you can trust, whether it's for your home or your business. Action is well established and offers convenience and reliability, always committed to a job done right. Give them a call or visit their website at actionlincoln.com. Action, your proud sponsor of the Ticket Postgame Show.
Welcome to Ticket Weeknights, live from Coppel Chevrolet GMC Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America.
Here are your hosts, Rocky Russo and Cristiano Simonetta.
What is up, everybody? I'm Cristiano Simonetta, the play-by-play voice of the Lincoln Stars, alongside Stars head coach Rocky Russo. This is Outside the Box, a Lincoln Stars coaches show, episode 1. Rocky, first off, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks, Cristiano. I'm excited to be here. It's a pretty cool name we came up with. Obviously, we play in the ice box down in Transformation Drive on the campus of the University of Nebraska, and so we're gonna get outside the box here and talk a little bit about the Lincoln Stars.
And not just the Lincoln Stars on the ice performance. We're going to have great guests. I don't want to give too much away right off the bat, but we'll talk about the Stars' previous weekend performance. We'll talk about, ticket specials, what we're doing in the next upcoming weekends. But we have so much to talk about the team a little bit later. Kind of want to introduce the listeners to us. And first off, for me, this is my third season here in Lincoln. I came from the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. That's going to upset a lot of Nebraska listeners, but you're never going to see me wearing red around Lincoln, but I've definitely become a little bit of a Cornhuskers fan because they've supported us so much. And Rocky, why don't you give a little brief intro? This is your first season here in Lincoln. What did you first think about the Stars even before you took this job?
Well, I've said it a number of times, but growing up as a player and then as a young coach, the Lincoln Stars were the mecca of junior hockey, right? They won Anderson Cups and Clark Cups, and if you were a player, you wanted to play here. If you were a coach, you wanted to coach here. And obviously, there's been ups and downs throughout the last few years here, but 26 years of Lincoln Star hockey. The opportunity when it presented itself to become the head coach was an absolute no-brainer. My wife and I were really excited about coaching here and more importantly, living here in the Lincoln community.
And for us, this isn't the first time me and you get to talk one-on-one with each other after every single game. You can catch coaches' comments presented by Southside Auto Tech after every single Lincoln Stars game, home and away. How have you liked that relationship? I know it's an odd question to ask, but we've had a lot of wins, 10-3-1 to start the season, but every single game you've been a constant professional answering all my questions.
The wins make it easier, right? But obviously I like the relationship as it's developed. I've worked with a lot of broadcasters, media directors over the 17 years that I've been coaching hockey. And I think you've done a great job so far. I don't think you throw me softballs all the time, which I think is good. I'm always up for the hard questions, and I will be on this show too. I want to be able to talk to the fans if they want to call in. Obviously they can reach out and call us at 402-464-5685. But aside from that, we've done a great job of kind of expanding our coaches' comments. We went from up in the media booth down to the stage. We've got now we're live on Facebook. We're throwing those videoed comments up on social media afterwards. Our fans are able to watch them live. So I think the fans are enjoying it, and I personally know that I am as well.
Well, thank you so much, Rocky. And let's first get it out of the way. It is a coach's show, so everybody wants to know about you. They've heard me the last 3 years. This is your first year here. You're from Youngstown, Ohio. The first question that I kind of want to dive into, because everybody, when they're younger, for me, I wanted to be a broadcaster ever since I was younger. I played 3 sports growing up in high school. My mom didn't want to take me to the 5 a.m. practices in to play hockey. My brothers got to play hockey, It's a little vendetta that I have still to this day.
Clearly, there's a little bit.
I'm just burning her on the first show. But for you, you started off as a player. So what was that first moment like for you that really set you apart? Like, hockey, this is the type of road that I want to pursue.
You know what? It's interesting because I was a multi-sport athlete growing up and kind of did everything. I played football. Ironically, if you know me in person, it'll shock you to know that I played basketball. I was a big baseball player. I was an all-conference center fielder, and I played hockey growing up in a non-hockey town. Youngstown, Ohio we didn't even have a rink in town until 1997. Fortunately, my grandfather on my mom's side was a hockey player growing up. My grandparents are from Nova Scotia, and so the hockey kind of came from there. I had a good friend growing up whose dad was coaching us bright and early from the time I was about 4.5 years old, and I loved the game. But when it came down to it, it was a difficult decision of, do I want to be a baseball player? Do I want to be a hockey player? Ironically, I had Division I baseball scholarships, and I didn't really have anything from a hockey standpoint. I didn't know a whole lot about junior hockey, coming from a non-junior hockey market, and so I went on a couple visits for baseball, and I came home after one of the visits, and I said to my dad, I want to be a hockey player, and he kind of looked at me like, "What are you talking about? You have baseball scholarships, an opportunity to get your college paid for," and I just said, "No, I want to be a hockey player," and so I went and I tried out for a North American League team. I actually made the team. My dad didn't know I went, by the way. I scrounged up some money and paid for the fee myself, and I went, and I came home and told my dad I was going to not go to college right away. I was going to play junior hockey, and he kind of picked his head up and looked at me with a bit of an awkward look, and he said, "I don't know what junior hockey is, but I can tell you you're going to college," and that's the end of this conversation. So from there, I went on to Kent State University, and that's 45 minutes down the road from Youngstown, Ohio, and lived with some of my buddies from high school and played on the ACHA club team, and played 4 years there, and graduated in 2005. And then it became time to make a decision. What are you going to do with your life after this? And my dad owned a fire extinguisher and kitchen suppression company. My family is all firemen. My grandfather, my uncle, my dad, my brother-in-law. And so my dad said, "What are you doing? You coming home and take the fireman's test and take over the family business?" And I had already kind of had a conversation with my coach at the time, Chris Wilk, who's actually ironically now one of our scouts here in Lincoln. He was also our GM, Nick Fabrizio's coach in college. So there's a unique connection to Nick and I there. But I had spoken to him about trying to coach, and he hooked me up with the Youngstown Phantoms. And I was able to get a job there as one of the assistant coaches on the North American League team, and helping to coach the rink or run the rink, and kind of do just a little bit of everything as I started my career.
You're listening to episode 111-16-21 of Outside the Box. I'm Cristiano Simonetta, joined alongside Stars head coach Rocky Russo. And let's go back to the ACHA days, because I have those ties broadcasting 4 years at the University of Illinois. We had a little bit of a crazy atmosphere, with
how big is that barn there? Like, that ice surface
best
is
power play
unbelievable
in the country, because it's a speed skating rink, and it's just unbelievable. You take one step off the half boards and you just have, the amount of ice is ridiculous.
We played there. I remember sitting, the benches are underneath the stands, right? So
stands
you almost feel like you're in a cave. They're hanging over top of you. The ice is massive. They were really good when I was in college. And so the story's always been they're going to go Division I, right? And I think that would be an awesome situation with the Big Ten now, and hockey really growing in the Big Ten at the college level. I think Illinois would be a no-brainer.
So is there a favorite story from those ACHA days, one that you can share on air?
Oh gosh, I don't know. We went to the national tournament my freshman year at the University of Arizona, which was just an incredible experience. We played Arizona in their building, 10,000 seat facility. They had about 9,000 fans. You'd never believe that for an ACHA game, but the environment was one of the most electric ones I've ever been a part of as a player or a coach. And so that was an experience that I will certainly never forget.
And then you move on to the North American Hockey League. Since 2005, you've been coaching for a very, very long time. And let's talk about the tenure now with the Amarillo Bulls, which is where you previously came from. You had so long of ties there. Was it hard for you when you took the job here in Lincoln to, it's not a, hey, I'll never see you again, to like when it comes to billets, when it comes to diehard fans, but clearly you made an impact on that area.
You know what? I went down there in 2010, and they had just purchased the team. It was the Albert Lee Thunder in Minnesota, and the organization and the ownership moved it down to Amarillo. I was coaching in St. Louis with Jeff Brown, 13-year NHL player at the time. And when they made that purchase, and then St. Louis was having some financial issues, and I got the job in Amarillo. I met Dennis Williams, the head coach there, for the first time on the side of the road. My dad dropped me off somewhere along the turnpike in Ohio for Dennis to pick me up to take us to our first trial camp. We had never met each other when he hired me, and so we built that thing from the ground up. We built the billet program, obviously rebuilt the fan base. They had a Central Hockey League team there before, so it was a serious challenge to present junior hockey to a market that was used to pro hockey. Had a lot of success, went to 3 national tournaments, set the record for most points in a single season with 99, back-to-back 46, 7, and 7 records, national championship in 2013. And then I left. And the first time I left, it didn't feel like goodbye. Like I always knew that I wanted to be the head coach in Amarillo. And I had talked to the ownership group, and they kind of promised me that when Dennis left, I would get the job. And then actually Dennis left and I didn't get the job, and they hired somebody else, and then they fired that guy, and I didn't get the job again. And I was now sitting in Philadelphia for 4 years, kind of wondering maybe I'm making a mistake trying to pursue this career. Killing it in Philadelphia, 750, 800 winning percentage, but going, I don't know if I'm going to get an opportunity, maybe playing at the ACHA level, opting not to play Division III hockey when I had the opportunity may have really hurt my chances to coach. And then I got a call after the 4th year. It was June of 2017, actually on my dad's birthday, June 16th, that I accepted the job to be the head coach of the Amarillo Bulls and return for my second stint.
And when we talk about pipelines, whether you're a player or a coach, do you see that there is some sort of stigma if you play at those levels? Because obviously the American Collegiate Hockey Association below the NCAA, but I mean, we both came from those programs, and we're trying to rise up the ranks here.
You know what? I believe that if you're good at what you do, you'll find your way. Your path might be a little bit more winding than some of the guys that play at a high level. And, that's everybody's, it's everybody's destiny to do it a different way. And, I was very fortunate when I finally did get that opportunity to have some success. We had a nice run there over the 4 years that I was there. Obviously at that point, Mr. Fernandez and Bob Sweeney come in and purchase the Amarillo Bulls in my 3rd year. I develop a relationship with Mr. Fernandez. He's an unbelievable owner, but more importantly, an incredible person. And he wants to give back to the community. He wants to support the players. He wants to support the youth hockey. And so I think he saw something in me, and he didn't care that I didn't play. He didn't care that I didn't have the pedigree of pro hockey or Division I hockey. I think what he cared about was that I took care of the players. I took pride in serving the players. I took care of my family, and I was an active part of the community. And I think he knew that by giving me the opportunity here in Lincoln, that's what he would get from his head coaching position. And I'm hoping that I'm living up to those standards at this point.
So then when Alberto and the rest of the ownership group take shape and they announce that they are, in fact, purchasing the Lincoln Stars in the summer, was your phone just ringing off the hook with, colleagues and stuff like that saying, oh, hey, this could be, a lead in for you? Or what was that process like?
Well, the process was a lot longer in behind the scenes, obviously. And so, leading back to, was it difficult to leave Amarillo? Obviously it was a challenge mentally to leave a place that my wife and I had kind of become a part of the community. And it was where our first daughter was born. We bought our first home together there. We had some good ties to that community, but the team was leaving, and it was going to Mason City, Iowa. There was an established coach there with Todd Sandin, who does a great job. And the new ownership group with the Amarillo Wranglers had a little bit of a falling out with the previous ownership. And I was kind of tied to the previous ownership. And so it wasn't a really good fit to stick around. So that made leaving easier. Mr. Fernandez had many conversations with me about this Lincoln purchase and the opportunity to potentially coach the team. And he did put me through the process of interviewing with Nick and flying out to meet with him. And I'd like to think I earned the job through the interview process and showing that I was the right person for it in a lot of different ways. But, I'm sure I had a leg up based on my prior relationship with him through my 2 years in Amarillo with him.
Throughout that interview process, do you ever get nervous still? You've been doing this for a long time when it comes to head coaching vacancies, and for you, an opportunity to coach. at the United States Hockey League level, no matter the connection that you had or not. You just said you earned it. You thought through that interview process, but what were you thinking? Were you really thinking like, this is my moment? Like, I'm just going to go and take it? Like, how is your mentality in those situations?
You know what? As a coach that kind of really went through the ringer, starting, I coached at the ACHA level while I was also coaching in Youngstown as an assistant coach. Started the program at Youngstown State. So I coached ACHA. I coached Tier 2 as an assistant for 3 separate organizations. I coached Tier 3 as a head coach. I went back and coached Tier 2 as a head coach, and now the opportunity to coach Tier 1 as a head coach. I knew I could do it. I was confident in the ability to serve the players, build the culture, take care of the community, give back in every way that I could. It wasn't a matter of whether I felt I was capable of it. It was simply a matter of, would somebody give me the opportunity? This is the premier junior hockey league in the world, quite frankly. And so there's 16 teams in this league. Getting an opportunity to be one of those 16 head coaches is like getting struck by lightning. So getting that chance was something that I'd always hoped for. Was I optimistic that somebody would eventually see my ability to do it? I was, but did I also realize that it might be difficult and I might have to take a different path? I did. So getting the opportunity, it was okay. I got it. Let's go. I know I can do this. I'm going to be surrounded by a great ownership group that's going to give us the resources to succeed. I had an existing relationship with our GM and Nick Fabrizio. Was able to bring on my assistant coach, George Lewis, who I obviously have an existing relationship with. We brought in Art Bry, who's got USHL experience as a player, Division I experience, pro experience. Our staff has really taken off as far as the way we've come together. And I think you witnessed that more than anybody with the behind the scenes stuff. And then we were fortunate to have Billy Puglisi, who had built a nice group. We brought some free agents in. We started full bore on building our culture from day one. And we've got a great group of young men who are really buying in.
And before we fully get into how the Stars have began 2021-22, let's take it. If someone's listening to this show outside the box for the first time, maybe not even knowing what the Lincoln Stars are and what division, what tier of hockey they're playing, Rocky, I think you could take over. Your dad didn't even know what junior hockey was. So if someone's out there listening, can you fill them in on the entire process?
Yeah, I think all the folks out there that are Nebraska Cornhusker fans, and there's a lot of them, they're looking at the process of kids going from high school going right into college. And what junior hockey does is it provides a bit of a bridge for these players to develop mentally, physically, emotionally in preparation for playing Division I college hockey. And the average age of a Division I college hockey freshman is about 19 and a half, where all the other sports you're going directly in at 18. So junior hockey provides a different avenue. I tell all of our players, your goal is still to be a student athlete at the NCAA level. This is just an alternate path to get there. And so our guys are able to come in and really focus on their development. They get ice 5 days a week. In the morning, we practice. In the afternoon, we work out and do small area skill stuff. They're in the gym every day. They're watching video. They're at study tables if they're in high school, because we do have a number of high school players here. And so it's a big time developmental opportunity. We obviously, if you look at our roster, we've got 21, 22 Division I college committed players. We've got one NHL draft pick in Joe LeMay, a 4th rounder to the Washington Capitals. And we've got probably 4 or 5 more that are on our roster that'll be drafted this spring. So it's a incredibly high level of hockey. The players are not compensated for their time here, so they maintain their NCAA eligibility. They live with local families. They're called billet families, and our billet families get compensated directly from our team. And they bring the players in, they feed them and take care of them, and kind of make them a part of their family. And so I like to tell the billet families, I want these guys to be full-fledged members of your family. I want them to do chores. I want them to be home for curfew. I want them to be sitting at the kitchen table for dinner. And so, it's a very unique situation, but it's something that I don't consider work. It's the most fun thing I could ever possibly do. And I love watching the process of the players develop. The level of hockey is fantastic to watch. If you haven't been to a game at the Icebox yet, get out there. You will not regret it. The game is fast. It's physical. It's skilled. There's a ton of excitement. There's a ton of energy in the building. And I think once you come once, you'll be coming back again.
And it's one of those sports, the first thing I always hear, when I say to people, hey, I work in hockey, I'm a sports broadcaster working in hockey, they go, oh yeah, that's a sport you can fight in. And I believe that we're both in the same mindset that hockey and fighting, they belong together in an effort to police the game. In our league, there is an extra 10-minute misconduct attached to a 5-minute major in the United States Hockey League. When you first heard about that, were you for or against it? I think I know your answer, but to fill in the listeners on what your opinion on hockey and fighting, how that goes together.
Well, first of all, I don't know, with the exception of maybe lacrosse, there's not a lot of sports that the guys are carrying a stick while they're playing. So, and they're swinging that stick at times, whether it be at the puck or occasionally at the opponent. We like to limit that a little bit, but that's called a slash. It happens. But I was against the 10-minute misconduct, obviously, because number one, I was coaching in Amarillo at the time when they put it in, and it was a giant detriment to our ability to draw a crowd. We were selling hockey in the South, and obviously the fighting was a part of that sell. But more importantly, as you alluded to, it's a safety valve for the game. When a player doesn't have to worry about having to answer the bell if they hit somebody dirty or from behind or whatever, then they're willing to do it. And in this league, everybody wears a half shield, which means their face is only partially covered. And so if you're going to play dirty, you're going to have to kind of deal with those repercussions. But the fighting has gone down in a major way, which is what the objective was from USA Hockey when they put that 10-minute misconduct in. But it's also still there when it needs to be. And I think the players understand when it's time to police the game on their own, and when before it might have just been fighting for the sake of the crowd. Now the fighting, I think, is maybe more genuine from a policing standpoint and to protect our teammates.
And it's always easier when, the focus is not on the guys wearing stripes. Obviously it's a completely difficult job to do, making calls and split-second decisions. It's easier for us, whether it's you on the bench or me up in the booth, being able to, have opinions on it. But for you, when you're able to see a call like that, what is the conversation like with officials when a play isn't called, when you have a different viewpoint, because you're able to communicate with the officials in real time, sometimes right after the play happens?
Yeah, I think that over the course of time, I've realized how you can communicate with the officials to make them see your point of view and your perspective. And it is such a fast game. You alluded to that. It's a challenging job to be a referee or a linesman for that matter at this level and beyond. And so they're going to miss calls. What I can't stand is when they tell me that I'm wrong, when I know that I'm not. I'd much prefer them say, hey, I missed that. I didn't see that. I got it wrong. Whatever. That's the quickest way to shut me up, is to just be honest. And I've had them say, no, you are wrong. I saw that. I had a great view of it. That's what I saw. And I will go back and watch that video during intermission, and I will be happy to come back out and say, you know what, I looked at it and you were right. I think I earned some brownie points that way. You catch more bees with honey, so to speak. But there's also an element of affecting the game and potentially drawing that next call for your team, being able to kind of put some pressure on the referee when he does make a mistake.
Talking Lincoln Stars hockey with Stars head coach Rocky Russo on Outside the Box. Was there ever a moment in your coaching career where you lost it on the officials and maybe a learning moment for you? Is there one story, one call that just sticks out? Well, we're going to go with just one, the one that stands out the most.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of them.
Come on, you can't leave these listeners.
It's been a couple years. My wife will tell you, I jumped on the ice one time.
Oh, you're kidding.
I was so angry at our best player a few years back. Got sucker punched, and I was very upset. He actually set the record for most goals in a single season in Amarillo. He scored 60 goals in 60 games.
Not bad.
But I was so upset that he got sucker punched, and I went to the referee, and he was ignoring me. I stood up on the dasher, and I jumped off the dasher onto the ice. And so I also had a red jacket on that night, which you will see in the Icebox at some time this year. I love that red jacket. I wear it from time to time. It's actually salmon, I guess, but it was like, go ahead and throw the
chair.
target on you. You've already got the spotlight, and now you've got the red jacket on top of it. And so I jumped onto the ice, and I could hear George behind me say to our other assistant, okay, he's gone. I'll take the forwards, you take the D. So George already knew I was gone before I even got thrown out of the game. But that was certainly me losing my cool, and I've not done that in a number of years. I can't tell you the last time I got thrown out of a game, but I do bring a lot of emotion to the bench. In fact, maybe not enough for the Stars fans. They've asked me a couple times when I'm really going to let it go, and I haven't to this point, but I'm sure at some point you'll see it. You'll see a vein pop out of the right side of my my forehead when I do get really angry.
I thought you were going to say you were going to be like Bobby Knight wearing a salmon-colored. I thought you were going to go and grab a chair off the bench and then throw it onto the ice. That was going to be the extreme. But you actually hopped onto the ice.
I was on
How
the
far
ice.
did you get?
Well, I mean, I don't have very long legs, but I just popped off the dasher. That's about a 4-foot drop, right? And I stood there, and immediately, as soon as my feet touched the ice, I'm like, well, that wasn't a very good idea. And so off I went. I made sure and go the far way, all the way across the ice to the Zam door. The fans started going. They were pretty excited. They actually started playing the Rocky theme song. The whole building started chanting Rocky. So it actually got our team really going, and we scored 4 in the third, and we won like 8-3. So I guess it was worth it from that standpoint. And then I had to sit up in the stands next game, but it is what it is.
Only one game for that?
Just one.
That's the North American Hockey League for you. Do that nowadays, you can get like 10 or something.
Yeah, well, you won't find out from me, but maybe if somebody else does it, we'll see.
All right, he's Rocky Russo. I'm play voice Cristiano Simonetta. You're listening to Outside the Box. We'll be back in a little bit.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning. Now in our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
These days, there are more reasons than ever to treat yourself to a great haircut at Great Clips with the online check-in app. So tell us, why do you check in?
I check in because I'm tired of hat hair. I check in because we all need a cut.
I check in so I can feel like me.
And I check in so I look good for you.
No matter why you check in, you'll check out with a great haircut and save time with our online check-in app. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 330 North 48th Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is a Broncos Radio Network update. Touchdown, Denver! How about that? I like that!
Broncos insider Brandon Cristal, a day after losing 30-13 at home to the Eagles, all anyone in Broncos country wants to talk about is Teddy Bridgewater's effort or lack thereof following Darius Slay's fumble recovery that would turn the tide of the game. In fact, for 7 of his 8-minute Zoom press conference Monday, that's all Bridgewater was asked about.
It's one of those situations where you get pissed, after you watch it, because it's like, you know how much this game means to you. You know, guys out there trying to make a play. You walk away from it pissed, at yourself, at the effort. Credit Slay, he made a great play also. But, it's one of those deals where, we got guys diving, trying to make the tackle, and I just needed to just lay it all out for the guys in that moment.
The Broncos met virtually Monday because of COVID precautions. They're off Tuesday, have a light workout scheduled for Wednesday before getting Thursday to Sunday off for their bye week.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
The party is back on in Lincoln this fall, and there's no party like the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket. Join the whole ticket crew for 2.5 hours of pregame coverage before every home and away game this football season as they get you ready for the game. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket. Sponsored by Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, Tractor Supply Distribution Center, T.O. Haas Tire and Auto, Planet Fitness, Barnwood and Leather, and Vitalize Health. Back to the Ticket Weeknights.
Here are your hosts, Rocky Russo and Cristiano Simonetta.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up.
Welcome back to Outside the Box. I'm Cristiano Simonetta, joined alongside by Stars head coach Rocky Russo. Today's show is brought to you by Farm Bureau agent Rick Michener. When it comes to insurance, all you need to remember is Rick Michener. He's your local Farm Bureau financial services agent and can be your one agent for life, auto, home, farm and ranch, and business insurance. Rick Michener in Lincoln. It's your future. Let's protect it. Back with episode 1 of Outside the Box. And Rocky, we got a couple guests. Segment number 2, kicking it right off.
Before we get to the guests, those guys can wait. Like, I feel like I'm watching like Mike and Mike in the Morning or something on ESPN. Like, you are just smooth at this, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Look, when you want to do it for so long, I've wanted to be a broadcaster since I was 2 years old. I think it's a little bit of the ego. I wanted the attention when I was younger while everybody's watching sports. Like, me. I'm going to talk over everybody. Kind of want to do this for a while. So,
well, you're good at it. So we brought a couple special guys into the studio today. We've got Lincoln Stars captain Dalton Norris and defenseman Antonio Fernandez joining us tonight.
Two big guys over the last weekend series. We'll talk about that in a bit. But first of all, Dalton, Antonio, welcome to 93.7 The Ticket. How are you guys doing?
Thank you. Yeah, it's great to be here.
Thanks for having us.
One of you guys is the USHL Defenseman of the Week. The other one just scored 2 goals in 2 games. So not the worst guess to bring on for episode 1.
I think I made a good choice with the first 2.
So, guys, for you, Daltz, you've been here for 3 years. Antonio, this is your first year. I want this first question to be a softball. Antonio, how about you? Because you're the newest one here out of the group. When you first stepped foot in Lincoln, Nebraska, what was the first impression?
Yeah, so I've actually been, like, the first thing that came in my mind was kind of like, what's the weather going to be like? Because being from California, I'm in the sun, I'm doing all those activities outside, like surfing and all that. But you know, it really wasn't that bad at first, and now it's getting colder though. So,
so no surfing.
So
like
there's definitely no surfing out here. So,
did you bring the board at least?
No board. I brought my skateboard because I wanted to keep my peak still there.
He was riding that skateboard down the ramp in Amarillo.
Yeah, in Amarillo, that's what I do, and now it's
all hockey all the time for Antonio right now.
Yeah, right now it's hockey.
And Daltz, for you being drafted in 2019, this is your 3rd season, first year wearing the C. Yeah. Same question for you. When you first step foot, is it all Nebraska Cornhuskers? You're a Michigan guy. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, coming in, I didn't know a ton about Nebraska. Obviously, I grew up in Michigan, kind of played hockey there throughout my whole life, stuff like that. So I knew the weather was similar to Michigan, so I wasn't too worried about that. When I came in, it was all Nebraska all the time. So kind of got used to that. And then obviously once you get into the icebox, Stars fans kind of speak for themselves. So, my 3 years here has been unbelievable. And, it's the best fans in USHL, and Lincoln's been my second home. So couldn't really have it any other way.
Daltz, obviously you've been here now for 3 years, and Antonio's just kind of getting his first taste of the Lincoln Stars, but not his first experience with me. He spent a cup of coffee, about 20 games with George and I in Amarillo last year. But, you've been through some ups and some downs, the COVID shortened season of 2 years ago. Tell me what has made this season different and special to this point.
Well, I mean, for starters, it's, obviously it helps when you're winning. We're doing really well right now. Obviously we're a tops, the Western Conference and stuff like that. I've been through a lot of adversity. My first year wasn't necessarily the easiest. I was an 18-year-old kid coming out of youth hockey, and it's a big adjustment coming into this league. So, this year has been awesome. We have a really good group of guys. Obviously, we have a really good staff and stuff like that too. So, it's been great. Like I said, I really wouldn't want it any other way, and it's been phenomenal especially this year.
and he had a weird tenure. You know, the first game before the pandemic, the last game, I should say, he scored his first ever USHL goal. So he had all that momentum. We had just came back in Green Bay and won a game after being down 4-0 after the first period, and then he's got to go through a shortened season.
Did I hear right that you scored your first goal in the ice box last week?
Yeah,
first two.
First two in the ice box. I hadn't scored 3 years, which
that's
don't want
hard to believe.
don't want to tell too many people.
Tony beat you to it, didn't he?
There's a lot of guys who beat me to it.
I
Wasn't
did
just
score
Tony.
earlier in the game, so I guess I did beat you to it.
Yeah, you did. There's a lot of guys who did too. There's plenty, long list in front of me. So.
Tony, you obviously are not a junior hockey rookie. You, like I said, you spent about 20 games with us last year, but you split your season with the Chicago Mission and finishing your high school out there at Lake Forest Academy, and then joining us for the playoff run. Tell me what the experience so far as playing in the USHL has been all about.
Yeah, so definitely it's been an awesome experience. It's the most skilled fast hockey I've played in, and I think I'm fitting in, and it's been great so far. So just trying to keep it rolling, kind of.
So you are from San Jose, the San Jose area, anyway, right?
Yeah.
Where did you play your youth hockey growing up?
I grew up in Castro Valley, which is a town kind of like 40 minutes north of San Jose, and there was the local rink there was in Dublin, and I played my mites and squirts for the Tri-Valley Blue Devils. And then as I grew up, I moved to AAA, and I played my AAA and for the San Jose Junior Sharks in San Jose. And I became a huge Sharks fan, and the hockey was kind of big in the San Jose area. And then I moved to Chicago my sophomore year of high school to play prep school in Lake Forest Academy. And then the following year, I played for Team Illinois, still while going to Lake Forest Academy. And then the last year, I played for the Mission. And as you said, split the season in Amarillo.
Adults, tell us a little bit about your background. I know you had a coach that was pretty near and dear to your heart growing up. I'm sure that was interesting.
Yeah, no, Papa Norris, he was Dwayne. He coached me until I was 15. So he was my head coach, I think, for 5 or 6 years. Actually grew up in Germany, so I was born in Germany, born and raised until I was 9 years old, and then me and my family moved back. And then from 9 until 18, played for Oakland Junior Grizzlies in Troy, Michigan, and it's history ever since.
You've got a couple brothers, right?
I do, yeah. I have a middle brother, Josh. He's 22, and then an older brother, Cole. He's 24.
And those guys play?
They do, yeah. My oldest brother is a fifth year at Bowling Green, and then my middle brother, Josh, plays for the Ottawa Senators.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah.
But for you, the first time you got drafted in the USHL, it wasn't by Lincoln. It was by Tri-Cities.
No, yeah.
So
what
was that like?
It was a good experience. I went to camp. They had some really good feedback. I felt like I had a pretty good camp. I was put on the affiliate list for a couple of months, and then obviously it didn't end up working out there. And following that year, I ended up getting drafted by Lincoln and picked up in phase 2. So obviously comes full circle, and it worked out really well. And been here for 3 years now, and this is kind of my second home. So honestly, wouldn't really want it any other way.
So obviously you alluded to it a little bit earlier, Antonio, but I kind of, when I talk to colleges about you, I kind of call you a rink rat. And I mean that in the best possible way. You love the game. I got to kind of drag you off the ice at times, but tell me what you like to do away from the rink when you're not playing hockey, whether it be now or in the summer.
Yeah, that's a good question because I'm kind of rarely off the ice. And when I'm at the rink, I'm doing the Zamboni, working around, helping the little kids. But yeah, when I'm off, I'm kind of just hanging with friends and definitely going to the beach and surfing. That's kind of the main hobby when I'm not playing hockey.
I've seen some pictures of you surfing. I think you're doing more than just casually surfing. I think you're pretty good at it.
Yeah, no. Two of my best buddies on Amarillo, Harrison Scott and Max Scott, shout out to them. We go out all the time. We go on the ice, and then we travel like an hour to the beach to go surfing. And yeah, we take it the next level. We're pretty competitive with it. So.
And when you're back in Michigan during the summers, what's one thing that you wish you could do if you weren't playing junior hockey in Lincoln?
Honestly, I couldn't really picture myself not playing juniors. So, me and my two brothers, we're always gone. Obviously, in the winter throughout the year, we don't really get any family time when it comes to during hockey season. So, normally when we're all home, we just like to go out and golf, try to get away from hockey a little bit, talk about other stuff. So, that's probably the best family time that I've had since, obviously in the summers I get to go home and hang out with them and see them. And it's a long year, so it's good to decompress and do some stuff with family too.
Speaking of golf, I think that golf is a sport that hockey players are usually pretty good at, right? So I know we've had some guys out playing golf. I know Corey Courtney, our athletic trainer and equipment manager, that guy pretty much lives on the golf course if he's not at the rink. But where does your golf game, Daltz, compare to some of the guys on the team?
I mean, it's not at the top of the list. I'm a decent player on a good day. I'm a bad player on a bad day, just like anyone else.
You played fine when we played together.
Yeah, I was fine. Yeah. Henry Nelson, state champion in Minnesota, so he's elite.
He's the ringer.
Yeah, he's the ringer.
And there's another guy in there that hates to lose to Henry. Who's that?
That's Agent Thompson. He'll tell you he's the best. I personally haven't seen him play a full round yet, so I can't say. But
is that because he threw his clubs in the forest and walked away?
Yeah, he probably did. He got frustrated and threw him in the woods for sure.
Tony, are you a golfer?
No, I'm terrible. Well, actually, it's funny you say that because I kind of picked it up this summer and started playing with my friends and family. And yeah, I just haven't really gotten better. But, it's all about just being out there, I guess.
Yeah.
Any day on the golf course is better than the alternative in my mind.
100%. 100%.
Stars captain Dalton Norris and Stars defenseman Antonio Fernandez. Guys, we've talked about, golf. Now let's talk about the sport that you guys excel at, and what you've been excelling at tremendously this season is hockey with the Lincoln Stars. 10-3-1 to start the year. Rocky had already asked Daltz about why this year kind of stands out from the other two. But for Antonio, this must be like a dream come true for you, stepping right into the USHL. You've scored 2 goals in your last 2 games. Well, let's go back to that first goal on October 30th in Sioux City. What was going through your mind when you saw the puck at the back of the net?
Oh, I kind of have that goal to thank to Lucas Wallen, who kind of did all the dirty work in the corner and got the puck right to me in the middle of the net. So
he does that frequently.
Yeah,
he does very often.
And he gave it right to me, and I'm like, all right, I'm right there against the goalie. I know I'm going to snipe him, so I just shot it.
That's easy. Yeah. Just 1, 2, and 3, and that's it. Now you got 2 in your last 2. So is the hot stick? Do you have any superstitions when things maybe aren't going so well?
No, in all seriousness, I've kind of just been not really focusing on the results and kind of just playing my game and doing the little things that'll kind of like help the team and me. So.
And what's been the ice box like, that atmosphere that we're trying to get all of our listeners to come out Friday and Saturday? 2 big home games, Friday night, $2 night against Fargo, Saturday night against those guys in orange from Omaha. But for you so far, Antonio, the atmosphere at the ice box, what stood out?
Yeah, it's kind of definitely been different than my previous years, like playing AAA and in Amarillo. It's a lot louder than any of those places, and the fans get into it. It's kind of nuts. Like I kind of turn around sometimes during the game, and I see Rocky, and he's having a headache. And
I've had to take ibuprofen in all but one of our home games because my head is pounding from the noise.
Yeah, so that's always funny to see, and but it's great for the players, and it keeps us in the game, so it's good.
Is there one moment from your tenure so far? Maybe you saw some fans in the stands, maybe a beer tower, but for you, were you just like, are you kidding? Is this actual real life right now?
How could it be anything else but last Friday?
I was going to say Friday, but if we're going to, we've talked about Friday a lot. So if we're not going to, last year, when the beer can got thrown on the ice against Omaha, and then, I don't know who's it. Dobes, I think, was the goalie. Turned around and threw the net off the hinges, and just we had a blatant breakaway and just threw the net off because there's a beer on the ice. But that was probably the craziest fan moment. But by far the craziest game was last Friday. I've never experienced anything like that in my life.
So Daltz, obviously you've been in the league for 3 years. You just mentioned Omaha. We play them for the first time this Saturday. Everybody keeps telling me this is the craziest rivalry and everything else, and not that I'm not looking forward to it, but every game is important to me. I want to win them all, and so I don't value one game over the other. But tell me about this Omaha Lincoln rivalry.
Well, honestly, when I first came here my first year, that was the first thing I heard was how big of a rivalry it is, Omaha and Lincoln. Whether it be fights, whether it be how tight the games are, whether it be how physical it is, or the fans. Honestly, it's every game obviously is very important, and every game there's a certain energy to it. But when you play Omaha, there's a whole nother energy in the building. Just our fans just can't stand the orange. I'm sure their fans think the same way about us. So there's really just a different vibe when you step in the building and play them. And obviously every game's important, but obviously playing the team in orange is a little bit different.
And we already have practice Friday, but I think we just have to go through that entire experience from the POVs of you three. For me in the broadcast booth, I mean, watching you guys on Friday night down 4-2 under 30 seconds ago, I don't think I was the only one when it's just like, okay, this is a disappointing ending. You had a couple of points in the third period, a 2-1 lead, but now let's take it from Rocky's perspective when Joe LeMay scores that 4-3 goal.
First of all, I'm just gutted because we talked to the guys about, hey, we're going to pull the goalie at some point. Thompson's coming out of the box. The two guys that were on the ice were supposed to get off so we could get the power play unit on. Gleb was going on for the extra attacker, right?
Yep.
The power play is expiring. We have a chance to get it deep, and we ding it off the linesman's shin. And poor Caden is on his way to the bench, and it ends up in the back of our net. And yeah, I mean, anybody with common sense thinks it's over. So obviously it was one of those things that was incredible. We can probably maybe touch on that a little bit when we come back from the break here.
You're listening to episode 1 of Outside the Box on 93.7 The Ticket. Text us at 402-464-5685.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank. A relationship you can count on.
Your NTV weather tonight, increasing clouds, much colder, lows 38, north winds gusting to 30. For your Wednesday, cloudy in the morning, sunshine, much colder in the afternoon, highs 48, northwest winds gusting to 35. I'm NTV Chief Forecaster Ken Boughton for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Join DP and Jay Foreman on Wednesday at Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. DP goes one-on-one with Husker Online Sean Callahan and joins Jay from 4 to 6 to preview the Wisconsin game and more. It's this Wednesday at Tanner's, 30th and Yankee Hill.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. The party is back on in Lincoln this fall, and there's no party like the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket. Join the whole ticket crew for 2.5 hours of pregame coverage before every home and away game this football season as they get you ready for the game. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket. Sponsored by Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, Tractor Supply Distribution Center, T.O. Haas Tire and Auto, Planet Fitness, Barnwood and Leather, and Vitalize Health.
Lincoln's mega liquidation store is here. Wholesale Logistics is now open on West O Street as a bin store with tons of liquidation pallets, appliances, mattresses, furniture, and more. Brand new mattresses 30 to 60% off retail with well-known brands. New furniture also 30 to 60% off retail value. Brand new LG scratch and dent appliances 35 to 40% off retail. Wholesale Logistics purchases truckloads of smaller items from major retailers and throws them into bins, with everything starting at just $8. Get to Wholesale Logistics, open each Friday to Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at 2811 West O Street.
This is a Broncos Radio Network update.
Touchdown, Denver! How about that? I like that!
Broncos insider Brandon Cristal, a day after losing 30-13 at home to the Eagles, all anyone in Broncos country wants to talk about is Teddy Bridgewater's effort or lack thereof following Darius Slay's fumble recovery that would turn the tide of the game. In fact, for 7 of his 8-minute Zoom press conference Monday, that's all Bridgewater was asked about.
It's one of those situations where you get pissed, after you watch it, because it's like, how much this game means to you. You know, guys out there trying to make a play. You walk away from it pissed, at yourself, at the effort. Credit Slay, he made a great play also, but it's one of those deals where we got guys diving trying to make the tackle. And I just need to just lay it all out for the guys in that moment.
The Broncos met virtually Monday because of COVID precautions. They're off Tuesday, have a light workout scheduled for Wednesday before getting Thursday to Sunday off for their bye week.
Back to the Ticket Weeknights.
Here are your hosts, Rocky Russo and Cristiano Simonetta.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back outside the box. I'm Cristiano Cimenna, joined alongside by Stars head coach Rocky Russo, Stars captain Dalton Norris, Stars defenseman Antonio Fernandez. Just before we went to break, Rocky, we were talking about that excellent and just unbelievable 5-4 comeback victory on Friday. Dalton Norris was the guy who scored the tying goal in the third period. So, Dalton, one really quick thing about that. I know we could talk about it forever, but when you scored that goal, you know, you had scored previously in the third period, but that's got to be the biggest goal of your career so far.
Yeah, it is for sure. Honestly, I completely blacked out when I scored. I turned around and Glad's jumping in my face. So it was honestly probably the best moment I've had in my 3 years here.
You know, there's Alex Ovechkin and there's Dalton Norris, and they both just live in that office there in the back. And DP's he's a big Washington Capitals fan. He just walked in, but I'm kidding, Dalton. You're not out.
I was going to say,
but Dalton's done a great job from that spot. That's a huge goal for us. And so my first thought is I look up and the clock is still ticking, another second and a half off. So I'm trying to get the clock to get readjusted. And then I'm trying to get the guys over to set the face-off up. We ended up calling timeout. We get that face-off set up. We win the draw. We get the entry we want. We win a battle. And then we get that pass over, and he's able to bury it. It was unbelievable.
And then Henry Nelson scores in overtime. So, Antonio, your team's just come back from an improbable deficit and then scored the overtime winner. Henry Nelson, another defenseman, providing a big goal.
Yeah, no, for sure. Our players just came up clutch when we needed them to. And like you said, Dalt's is one-timer. It's like none other than that. It's nuts.
Ovechkin.
It is.
Kaboom.
It is. Yeah, we've kind of labeled him as a nickname to Kaboom.
All right, guys, we talked a lot about the Lincoln Stars hockey team on the ice. Now let's figure out what you guys think of some Nebraska topics. This is thumbs up and thumbs down. First off, a softball for both of you, and Rocky, you could chime in as well. A Nebraska football atmosphere at Memorial Stadium. Thumbs up, thumbs down, and why? Rocky, let's start with you.
Well, first of all, I went to my first Cornhusker game last Saturday or 2 Saturdays ago against the Buckeyes. Unbelievable thumbs up. Like from the tailgate lot, I actually tailgated with some friends behind Breslow Ice Rink. The walk over to the stadium, the fans. It was just an incredible experience. 85,000 fans. They had the F-16s flying over before the game. Talk about a great situation.
But you were wearing the wrong colors, though. That's what I was trying to get at, as our listeners heard last week.
Yeah, I'm a Buckeye fan, and I'm proud of it. And I will cheer for the Cornhuskers for every game, every year, except for when they play the Buckeyes. That's just not going to change.
A Buckeye and Illini fan hosting this show. We'll see how long we last. Daltz, what about you? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Major thumbs up. I actually haven't personally been inside the stadium after a game, believe it or not, in 3 years here, but like I've been down there for some of the tailgates, and downtown is nuts. It's crazy. It's all a sea of red. So big thumbs up.
Antonio, what about you?
Yeah, for sure. Thumbs up. I went to one game, and it was this year, and it was against Northwestern, I think, and they smoked them. And we ended up sitting right next to the student section. So it was just an unreal atmosphere. And I definitely go again.
All right. Runza, Rocky, thumbs up, thumbs down. Ethan, our producer's already just adamant with a thumbs down. What do you think?
Get out of here, Ethan. That's a big thumbs up for Runza. I had one. George told me to go. I didn't even know what Runza was, quite honestly. I saw all these places around town, and I didn't know if it was a bank, if it was a restaurant. So George went, told me it was awesome. I went. I loved it. I got some Runzas for my uncles and my cousin when we were at the football game last week. So big thumbs up for Runza.
Daltz, what about you?
Can I do thumbs middle? I've never been to
Daltz,
Runza.
we gotta, like, you've been here 3 years, man. We got to get you doing some of the local stuff.
What have you heard about it, at least?
I've heard, just like Coach said, I've heard really good stuff about it. I mean, there's the occasional one that people say it's not great, obviously, but
I'm getting post-game meal runs.
But I'll give it a thumbs middle until I try it.
I mean, I think Tony has the same answer, right?
Yeah, I've never been, but I do know they have the best ranch, supposedly. That's what it says on one of the windows near my house. So.
All right.
So I guess I'm going to have to. Yeah.
They're at the Icebox. They're all over Nebraska. Red hot dogs.
I'm going to have to go thumbs down the middle because I've not had a red hot dog yet, but I love hot dogs. And so DP's giving us a big
Oh
thumbs
man,
down.
that's
So
Simon Cowell-esque over there.
that it is. That's not good. But can you make sure I get a red hot dog on Friday?
Yeah,
Like,
during the game, you've seen the hot dog can. It's gonna be shot right at the bench at 99 miles an hour. So it's just
I was an outfielder. I'll catch that thing. Just toss me some mustard. I'm good to go.
We got the can that'll shoot from the ice, like unbelievable.
Yeah, it's
Adults,
got some
you've seen
paste to it.
Yeah,
it does.
you want to have your head on a swivel.
Yeah, you
Okay,
do.
what about you? Red hot dog.
I mean, I have thumbs up to hot dogs, thumbs down to the red, because we had a couple. I think we had a tailgate. It was a month or two ago, and everyone was super confused about the red hot dog, and it kind of threw me off. But big hot dog fan, so
Yeah, same here. I love hot dogs, and the red hot dogs, I've had them and they taste fine. So I can't.
Well, you've
I'm
lived
not
in
picky.
Chicago a little bit,
Yeah.
so do you like everything on your hot dog? Tomatoes, celery salt, all that stuff?
I like to do the mustard, grilled onions, and some sport peppers, and
wow.
Yeah,
The classic Chicago dog is the way to go.
Yeah,
Like,
but no ketchup though.
I hate
no,
relish,
not
though.
on a Chicago
But
dog.
people,
Like,
hey, look.
I like ketchup on my dogs, but if I'm getting a Chicago dog,
Oh, no.
then no. So,
Never.
but can somebody tell me, like, why is the hot dog red? Like, is that just because it's Nebraska?
Yeah, that's why I was thrown off.
Ethan, if you want to chime in, our producer, if you look, you don't have a microphone, but you've given up that. Well, thumbs up, thumbs down. How about that? Thumbs up. Okay. For hot dogs,
Ethan says the red hot dogs are the way to go.
we're gonna
So,
have a segment
all
moving
right.
forward. Ethan's hot.
We're gonna
dog
have red
reviews.
hot dogs here next time, and we're all gonna taste them.
All right. Well, Rocky, anything for you? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Any concept of Nebraska so far? We still got some time left.
Well, I came from Northeast Ohio growing up, and then I lived for 7 years in Amarillo, Texas, and so Daltz probably has lots of trees. I don't know about the trees in California, but thumbs up, thumbs down to the actual 4 seasons, the changing leaves, being able to see that fall weather here in Amarillo or in Lincoln.
Major thumbs up for me. That's my favorite part, is seeing the leaves change. I think it's good, especially when fall comes into. I have a big thumbs up to that.
Yeah, thumbs up too, because as he said, the leaves are cool when they fall. And
Do you have a lot of trees and all that stuff?
Yeah, in California there are trees when they're not burned down.
There might be like one tree in the entire city of Amarillo.
Yeah.
And it was about 3.5 feet tall. So I'm super excited to see the fall weather here. I'm also super excited to be a part of the Lincoln Stars, to have our fans coming into the building. We've got 2 big games this weekend. We play the Fargo Force on Friday night. We play the Omaha Lancers on Saturday night. I'm going to let Cristiano tell you where to get your tickets, but do not miss out. Princess Night on Saturday is going to be exciting. So, Cristiano, let all our fans and listeners know where they can get those tickets.
Well, Rocky's not going to be wearing a dress on the bench on Saturday, but
I wore my
you and your
cowboy
family-
boots last
You
week.
did. It was an awesome night, country night last week. 2 big games at the Icebox, LincolnStars.com. Go ahead, get your tickets. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. This was Outside the Box.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com.